Okay, welcome to Style Class, guys. You've got Sarah and I today, and what we're going to go through is the what, the when, the why of pieces that we offer that you guys have a lot of questions about. And Sarah and I have been on the road a lot, and the team is on the road a lot. Check them out in LA this week. If you guys have not made an appointment, please do. They're right in the middle, like near Melrose. Is it that place near the Drees Men's store?
I think so.
Yeah.
And if it's not, well.
Anyways, it's very centrally located, cool house, cool people, cool, nice people. But the point of being on the road is that we get to have conversations with the people who buy our clothing. And it was really interesting. We're writing a book right now, and I'm writing a book right now. And one of the things I think a lot about is in the past, when I tried to get information about what the actual client was thinking, it was really hard because it was multiple times removed. You had a client talking to someone on the store floor. The store floor person would talk to the store buyer. The store buyer would talk to my wholesale person, and then they would come to me. And it was like a terrible thing of phone game, whatever that. Phone tag. But now we get to hear directly from the client. But the so what of that is, it's not about the client telling us, please make X, Y, Z. Mm-hmm. It's about the client telling us what their issues are. And when they do that, it makes me think, you know what, we have a solve for that. Why don't they know that?
Right.
How can I better position that information to them so that they can see how this will work for them? And then sometimes we hear about problems in a whole new way, and I'm like, we should actually create something fabulous there. So I thought when Sarah and I were kind of brainstorming how to present this to you guys today, we want to really give you very meaty information. We're going to follow this up in Substack. But when we were meeting with our editor, Bria, yesterday from Penguin, she said something really interesting. And she was like, the audience who's going to buy this next book, they're not people who are looking for clothing advice or style advice. They're people who are wanting to learn things, and they're willing to do the hard work to do it.
Yeah.
We know our customer is not looking for like the idiot's guide to blah, blah, blah. She's not looking for the two-step method. Mm-hmm. So we are going to be informational here because we know that you want to learn. And on that note, we're going to dive right into it. So we're going to go by category, and we're going to start first with pants.
Yep. So an issue that we heard a lot when we were in Zurich and Eindhoven and in Antwerp was that there's no like workhorse pant in a person's closet. Workhorse being like the pant that really does it all, that really, you can wear a few times, but you're not feeling like you're repeating an outfit. And I think Amy and I determined that the solve here is really a tropical wool pant with a point of view.
Yeah.
And, that's something I think from like the first fundamentals collection, I mean, even before that, tropical wool has been such like a fundamental fabrication for us. And so, but I think, the Stella might have been one of the earlier iterations, but we have definitely expanded in terms of styles for that reason, because not every silhouette is going to work for every person.
Exactly. And so, like that's the thing. When if you got a 9-to-5 job, if you got a job that like needs to be at work and then actually go through the weekend and maybe you're traveling to work, you need that pant to work really, really hard. And also 12 months out of the year, which is what's so great about tropical wool. So you're wearing the Stella pant. You wear a 00 in this. And Sarah is 5 feet tall. And you're wearing it with a heel.
I'm wearing it with a heel. And these are an OG no snaps. Yep. So this is like, they're at the long length.
But the great thing is with the tropical wool pants, what you're going to be looking for in a pant that is super malleable workhorse for you is that you need a long rise. And the reason why you want a long rise is Sarah's wearing it right now, kind of slouchy and easy. She's wearing it with a sweatshirt. But like if you were going out at night and wanted to wear a crop top or something with it, you could really hike it up.
For
that
sure.
Long rise is not going to give you a wedge.
And you want the ability to do that. Because,
did you have carrots with you?
No, and I was just thinking about that I forgot them, and I was like, I really hope she's
Anyway, but you want to be able to lift them up. So what that long rise does is not only does it convey ease, but it also gives you options. So she can wear it really high up. She can wear it down low. The other thing too that we play around with a lot when we're styling in the rooms here is we use our rubber bands, and I'm just going to do it on the jean that I'm wearing right now. But you can see like if on Sarah's pant here, and you'll get the visual alone on the jean here, that if I was, you know, you can completely change the shape of something. So here, this pant, if I were to wrap up Sarah in a rubber band, she's going to look like she's wearing a jogger or something. So one week she can, and one day, Monday, she wears it like down low. She's easing it into the work week. On Wednesday, she's going out for dinner. Afterwards, you're going to wear it up high, the shorter top. And then on Friday, you're going to manipulate that pant and turn it into a jogger. This pant is called the Reese pant, and this one we love, super workhorse as well. You can see this pant is long. When you want to not make it long, you got to use a rubber band or pins. This one is a cropped length.
Yeah.
It's right at the ankle. But what's great about the Reese is it rolls up and it stays. So and when you roll it up, it creates a different vibe.
For sure.
And you can still rubber band it. So the workhorse pant, tropical wool, 12 months out of the year. You can manipulate it with things like rubber band snaps and how high you jack it up, and in a neutral color.
For sure.
As well.
Yep.
Okay. The other issue that we heard a lot was that people said their pants felt flat, that they just couldn't, it was hard for them to describe the feeling that they were getting. They felt like, you know, I've got different shapes in my closet. I've got things with curves. I've got things that are straight, things that go like this, but I feel very flat in the clothing. And what that means is you need texture.
For sure. And I think that's something that we've all have fallen into, or I'll just speak for myself that I have, you know, a trap I've fallen into is, you know, I really love tropical wool, so I have the Reese pant, I'm wearing the Stella pant, but sometimes I'm just like, well, I don't want to wear a jean, I don't want to wear tropical wool, and I'm looking for something that's just going to offset, maybe it's a really feminine top that I want to wear, or I have to have from another brand, and I just really want something that is super techy, feels different, and to the touch,
Yep.
like offers you just a different sensation.
Yeah, because you're wearing a sweater here it's a heather, right?
Yep.
It's a melange. Melange kind of has some texture in it.
Right.
So that doesn't feel so flat with the flatter tropical wool.
For sure.
Like if this was in a purely saturated navy or even a color, it's going to feel a little bit flatter
Yeah.
without the melange technique. So that's where things like the sporty nylon become critical because it gives the good texture to something, but you're not wearing like an outfit.
For sure.
So you're getting that range and depth, and here I am, I'm wearing a flat t-shirt, tropical wool, and you can see that it looks great together because it's giving texture. And it's not that, I mean, this is great when I want to wear this as a full suit. This is great when I want to wear it with denim. But both of these materials are considered more flat materials. But this, you can hear it, you can feel it, and it's just giving texture. So when we talk about style, it's not a zero-sum equation. You don't need to choose which one you like it best. This is what you wear when you want to feel one way, another way, a third.
And I think that's the key, is that when people stand in front of their closets and they say, I have nothing to wear, but you are looking at an entire wardrobe full of stuff, like, but you're saying I have nothing to wear, it's because there's no emotion attached to those pieces.
Yeah, so you want to like get depth in the clothing. Another way to do it is through, I'm holding that one. It's through another fabrication that we use a lot called active knit. And what's great about active knit and what you want to look for in these pieces is, remember, we are a brand that is tailored first. That means that our pattern makers are trained tailors. And then they're taking all of that tailoring that they have put into the pants that they create for us, and then they're applying it to a fabrication that is absolutely sporty. That's very different than someone who creates sporty tracksuits for a living and then does them in a rich wool fabrication.
Right.
Like
The
we go
approach is completely different.
flipped,
Yeah.
yes. And it's what adds that luxurious hand to it, but it's still done in that sporty fabric. So this is the athletic knit. I wear a size small in this, and some people ask me about length a lot here. I tend to like we offer 2 lengths in a lot of our pants, regular and short. And we offer it in 2 lengths in pants where hemming them would create a problem.
It would take away from the intent of the pant.
Exactly.
Essentially.
So what we want to do here is I get the shorter length here because this pant actually has a lot of weight to it. It can feel
Exactly.
overwhelming.
Exactly.
But see,
Proof.
Lots
This
of it.
is the Winslow style for those asking in navy.
yeah. And so what is perfect with this pant as well is that when you just pants in general, and I'm going to hold this one up because it's very relevant. The third thing that we heard, so what we heard is my closet feels very flat. I need the workhorse. Third thing is I need something in my closet that is effortless without being so sloppy.
For sure. So yeah, I completely agree. I mean, there's so many times when I want to walk out the door and, maybe it's like an old breakaway snap pant or really just like some sweatpants from like the kids section at the Walmart, and I know that they look insane, but I'm like, oh well, who's gonna see me? But in reality, like I gravitate towards these pieces more than you would think because there's an actual need that I think I just didn't want to admit to, like this like in between time. I think it really is such a large amount of my time as well that like that really is the difference between a regular sweatpant and a Calder for that matter.
Exactly. Let's pull that out because that's a really good example. So this pant here, this is the one that you need. You want something really chill, like maybe you're just going to the playground with your kids, maybe you're just going to the grocery store. But when you have opted for pieces, that are cheap, I don't mean cheap so much in price, I mean cheap in how they're made, because you've just thought, this is just a pant I'm going to wear to the playground. Like, even when you're at the playground, that continuity, there's one thing continuous there, it's that it's you each time. And I want to feel as good at the playground as I do out to dinner, as I do at, in an office meeting. And it's not good in terms of like, I look so good. It's like good and that you feel like yourself. And when you start to understand that there is a rub that is not good when you don't feel like yourself, you will never not want to feel like yourself again. So these are the things that this kind of real off-duty dressing that still has all the chill and the modernity and the classic baked in is going to be your savior. So,
and again, it's because it's a tailoring first approach.
Yeah.
So we are looking at how to create a sweatpant that has the look and polish of a more classic tailored piece, but is comfortable. And this is after many iterations, like what has been landed on, but Tracy and Amy have expanded beyond that.
yeah, like this is so this one's a softer, so let's hold them up. So if you're looking at the Calder is a tighter knit and it's more dense and it's got more body. It absolutely is perfect for the summertime. I will still wear it with something that is very bare and a t-shirt. It's a year round. This one is I would say this is more like if you're going outside in it, it's probably like March to October. New York, I'm giving New York temperatures. Year round, Atlanta, Georgia, or Bali. But what is great about this one is that it's long, it has all the drape. I can definitely wear the shorter length in this one, but I actually wear the longer one. It's your choice.
It's to each their own. I think that the length and choosing the length actually differs person to person and style to style. So, it's really knowing how you want to use each pair of pants.
And so what's great, this one, it does have the snaps so that when you're wearing it, you have all the drape that puddles across the front of the foot. but in the back, it's not going to catch on the heel. That's where you guys trip because things catch from behind, not because you're falling forward because something's too long. So this lets this drape long in the front, shorter in the back. This also works great with the rubber bands tied up, and then we just love it long and loose. This is your tween pant. It's what you wear in the hotel when you're going down for
I think it's also a really great alt to like the summer linen pant that you see everyone really wearing in beach towns.
Yes.
This is a pant that you can wear with a flip flop. You can wear with a dressier shoe, and it really is appropriate for both. But it's a little bit weightier, and so I think that having that almost structure kind of like grounds you a bit more.
It does, and this is like when you were seeing in beach towns. Thing is, when you get to beach town, when you're shopping in LA, when you're on vacation, you want to lean into all the ease, but like you pull out the items and you're just off.
Yeah.
They just don't. They might have tons of ease in it,
Totally.
but the tailoring is not there. The refinement is not there. And again, when you do not have chill, modern, and classic baked in all at once, you tend not to feel like yourself. It's not good enough to just wear a chill top, a modern pant, and a classic shoe. They don't all gel together. They become like puzzle pieces, and you can still see the outlines there, and the outlines can rub you wrong. Another great piece, if you're wanting to add things into your closet, you're gonna wear to like the little kid's birthday party, you're gonna be fully appropriate, but like super cool and modern at the same time, is something like the track pant here. And guys, this was born because between Tracy and myself, like we've got our boys, we go to soccer tournaments, and I'm like, that kid in the outfield, like I love that way that pant looks on that kid. I want to have like that swagger. And then I would go to Dick's Sporting Good and try on the pant. I'm like, what the fuck, man? I got like this.
Because it wasn't designed,
for me.
For you, for women, for people that are looking for this kind of style. And so it has everything that you loved about the kids running around in those track pants, but everything that you needed.
Exactly. So you've got the pin tucking that's keeping it very tailored and refined. You've got 2 straps, not 3, Adidas. And then you've got the lower pockets here, which like they fool the ease. So this is actually quite fitted here and tailored, but then that pocket is like, tons of ease.
Yeah. That is the Scotty, for those of you that are looking for it now.
Yes. Okay. Oh yeah, the Scotty. What size do you wear in the Scotty?
Extra small.
Okay.
Double, I don't know if it's not.
And I wear a size small in the Scotty, but the thing about the Scotty is, you can, if you want it to have almost like a legging type effect, you can really size
Oh
down
yeah, for
on it,
sure.
and it's fine. And then if you want it to have a straight but super easy,
Right.
if I wanted it to have this effect on me, I would actually just size up.
For sure, and I think doing that with the Scotty would not create the same shape as the Winslow or the wide leg jogger. Like they're all very
Scotty,
different silhouettes.
very straight up and down. The Winslow is rounded and it curves in on you, and then the Stella, here's the Stella, but you can manipulate it. All right, so let's talk about the tops. What's the first issue there on the
The
board?
first one, it's for top. For top? Oh yeah, it's for okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, right.
I
I
have
jumped
two.
over there. Sorry.
Okay, so I have pinks and tees, but somehow I don't feel color or interesting in them. I want
Cool.
to feel cool. Am I just? Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. It's
But
cool
yeah,
or
like
interesting in them.
you've got your tanks, you've got your tees, but like you're wanting more. But this is what we see over and over again with people who share our mindset and the way that we dress, is when a top becomes too much of a top, you feel locked in, right? I mean, like, it is really great sometimes to have like a great top,
For
for
sure.
sure. Jinx. But you want something to be a little more malleable.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing one of the tank tops from the summer delivery. Now I do wear a size small in our tops. On this one though, I'm gonna take the extra small because
It has a generous cut on the side.
yeah,
I
and
will
with
say.
it being, I just don't want it to get too low on me.
Mhm.
So I've actually got I'm wearing the small right now, but I just put
Like you knotted it a little.
I knotted it. But what's great about this top and what we talk about is this very luxury approach to basics that are not basic, is the fact that this does have, it is a double layered. And the reason why it's double layered is you can see when you have the single layer here, it's got the top stitching, right? You see the knit stitch. But right here, we wanted this to be very clean so we could get this shape. And you could not get this shape unless you had the fabric
Right.
doubled over. So this is what keeps it very refined.
For sure.
If it was all stitched here, it would be wobbly. And so it makes it quite an elegant top.
Oh yeah.
And I'm wearing it with an elegant blazer here, and I thought they paired nicely together because it was like this met this blazer where it is.
Sure.
But it's also just a t-shirt at the end of the day. So if I was going to the beach, this top works just as well.
Totally agree.
So one of the keys when you are looking for these basic tops is
This neckline.
the neckline. You need a point of view, right? So this is like not messing around here. You know, you're either getting quite high at the top or we're getting really low here. The camisoles drop down nice and low.
And I think what's really key to note here is that everything is so purposeful. Like I think we kind of agreed, you, myself, and Tracy, that we weren't fans of t-shirts that were too low of a V-neck, but we wanted something that was a V-neck but still felt like a crew neck, and Tracy obviously delivered on that, but it created a completely new idea that
Yeah.
we now really live by.
Yeah, like really, like this is Tracy's V-neck.
Yeah.
Because Tracy is not wearing this V-neck.
No.
Even as strong as a point of view as it has. And you can see here when we talk about a point of view that if this top was just like up here, it just, it loses, well, it's still refined because it's Tibby, like it's still gonna look good, just saying, but it's not as interesting. You're not really committing there. And committing to that point of view, I think is, like it's in our DNA to
For
like
sure.
have one.
Yeah, definitely. And I think like the proportion there of the neckline is what really differentiates this cake from another one that you might see in the market. In addition to the double layering and all of those details,
Yeah.
like everything is really intently, put together.
Yeah. So all of these things really, they've got a point of view, but here's another really important thing about them is they often work as, in a way that we refer to as valves. And what a valve does, if you can imagine a real valve, you can turn it up or you can turn it down. So like this is a compact knit top and it is a slim form top here. Now, if you were putting this top with this jean, immediately it's going to elevate the whole jean. If someone said, we're going to really go out to dinner at an interesting restaurant, and I was like, is this restaurant like super fancy? Is it super chill? I don't know. This top is allowing me to hedge my bets. You know, if I walk in and there are white tablecloths, I haven't shown up in a t-shirt and ripped denim, like I've got this level of polish. So this really can lift things up. But if you were traveling and someone was like, oh, we're going to go to this incredible like party and you don't want to load up too much, but you've got this amazing sequin skirt in your bag, this top is going to take that sequin skirt and it's going to like dial it down a notch. It's going to give it some edge and cool, and it's going to calm it down. You can imagine that sequin top, like if you matched it at the same level, it would
Right.
too much,
So I think it's just going to bring you back to center, and it's going to find that balance ultimately.
So the tops that really can give you lots of range, they've got a point of view and they can work hard to take something up a notch or take it down a notch. Okay. The other thing that people have said is, okay, help me out. I've got a closet filled of button-down shirts, collared button-down shirts. We all know what those are. and a closet full of like cotton t-shirts,
Mhm.
and then maybe some lovely silk tops. Silk and cotton and like t-shirting. Like those are the three things that can really tend to weight down
Mhm.
a closet after a while. And then you got them all in t-shirt bodies or in button down. So where do you add depth?
Mhm.
Okay, so this is where you want to think about things like here and here. So I'm going to start first with like the terry cloth. So this is giving you all the basic ease of a regular t-shirt. It's got a point of view, but it's in terry cloth. You can feel that it has lots of dimension. So here I'm wearing the t-shirt with the tropical wool. This is a flat on flat fabric. I've augmented all the flatness by having like the deeper V-neck. But if I wanted to switch to the ease of a general t-shirt, but I wanted more, I would absolutely put on the terry cloth here, and that's going to give dimension. You don't need to choose one is not better than the other, but when you crave dimension, that's what the terry cloth does.
For sure, and I think the sheer wool gauze, I think, does the same thing. It allows you to really make something, just push something to be a little bit more experimental, so, or creative. So, you know, I'm wearing, I think we can agree that pants are flat, and this is, yes, it has the melange, but it's still relatively flat compared to this. And I think immediately if I was wearing this and like a black bralette underneath, I would be, still myself, but with like a new attitude almost. And I think that this top really is the one that goes from day to night, from, if you're wearing a camisole underneath, it really can go from play to dinner to work. It's about layering. And again, the material is super sheer and lightweight. So it's not just, your partner's t-shirt that's oversized. It's designed to drape, the shoulder is designed to, for a woman's body. So it's not just like we went to the vintage store and found some fabric that was made into this.
And what's funny too, like when you remember like 3 years ago, it was like every single article was sheer is a trend,
Right.
Sheer is a trend. And we were craving sheerness.
Mhm.
And I don't think at the time it was because it was a trend, but it was things were feeling very heavy. But when we did it, we're like, oh no, this is not a trend.
Mhm.
This is like a real need in your closet
Yeah.
because like if you were wearing this suit
Right.
and you had on these pants, if you had on the sweater, like it's quite covered.
Yeah.
It's quite heavy. But then if you put on the sheer top instead with making the full suit with this, it's adding like something.
It's adding
Different.
some lightness.
Yes,
And
lightness.
I think
exactly.
I really do think that, you kind of exude like the mood that your clothes
Yes.
really bring out. So I think, this top will really not only like makes you feel light, but I think that's kind of like what you're going to deliver.
Exactly. So one other thing here, really big work hairs here that gives you texture. This is the sporty nylon top. And again, just wearing it with the jeans, like if it was a black t-shirt, if it was black cotton, good, but this is your other option. So when you think about expanding the range in your closet, what you're going to lean into are the interesting fabrications, but that don't fight with the other things that you have. So you're going to be looking at nylon, you're going to be looking at the sheer fabrications, terry cloth. Another really important one is the active knit here. And sorry, I crunched that up in my purse when I brought it here, so it's really wrinkled.
Because you really do wear this
I do
a lot.
wear it a lot. But that one is really, really important because what the active knit does is, first of all, the design.
I think the design detail is, one to note. It's, supposed to look like the bottom of, a bodysuit or
Turned
a
upside
leotard
down.
turned upside down. And so the intention is for these to hang over the pant or the skirt to be tucked in. Dealer's choice, really, but I think it's those added pieces that, create extra interest. And then the material, the active knit, as we discussed before, adds some depth and some dimension and some weight.
And this one I have found as a game saver when you're going out and you want to have, like it's a really nice event.
Mhm.
And you've got like, maybe it's even like a big black file skirt or something, but I don't want to wear like a super top. I'm not gonna wear like, I don't want the poplin shirt with it, it's a thing, but like, I'm not in the mood for it. But what are you gonna wear? Because if you mix it with a t-shirt, which people are like, oh, go high-low. But the thing is like the puzzle pieces, they're not really fitting together.
Mhm.
What you want is a top that is not t-shirting fabric, not cotton, not as precious as silk, but it's giving all that strength and gravitas that this one does. So active knit is really, really a perfect fabrication in a top. Okay, the other thing that people say is I really need a workhorse in a shirt. We know that when we talked about the pants, what makes a workhorse is when something is extremely versatile. And I was reminded when we've been out on the road, we had a lot of new customers between Dallas and Montreal and Zurich and Eindhoven, wherever we've been. We've got a lot of new customers.
Yeah.
And when they were putting on the Gabe shirt, they were like, shit, what is this shirt? This thing is amazing. And it is. So I just want to do a quick review of all the different ways that this shirt can be worn, because it really is incredible. I just want to grab one of my rubber bands here. So first of all, it is just your easy shirt, right? Like it's long, it's got the tail in the back, so it's already got the interest in it, and it's got the side panels. One way that this can be worn that is great is if you feel too covered up. One of the things to look at doing is I unbutton the bottom two and I just pull it lightly in the back, and I'm just going to create a knot back here and leave it like this. So now this top has this like interesting look here. It's giving me a little bit of waist, and instead of thinking of it as giving me waist, what it is doing is it's like letting my eye travel in a way that is interesting. We don't need to choose which way is best. This is just an option. Another way to wear this top is it's really cool when you, because your slits are high, Tracy did them really purposely high here so that you can tuck this in and then cross it over and tuck it in. And then this gives you a really interesting like detail here without needing to buy the top that is crisscrossed and stitched, or the top that is like, you know, it was a Balenciaga, like I loved it. They had this top and it was like knotted up in the back, and I was like, oh, that's great how they styled that. I love that. And then I was like, shit, they sewed the hell out of it.
I think that's what's really key is that like you know, at the end of the day, like I think Tracy really leaned into like the heritage of a classic button down, what we all think of an Oxford shirt, and then, you know, added the modernity, added the ease. But when you know, wear it at its original, you know, style, how it was intended, it still looks like a shirt. Like
Yes.
it's not, you know, it doesn't have all of those bells and whistles that
Baked in.
right. It's something that you are doing, you're manipulating it. It's a tool to
Exactly.
use to just help you
Create
get
good
dressed.
things.
Right.
Another way that we love this is this top is great for layering over a dress, a skirt, or with like especially a wide leg pant like what Sarah's wearing. So what we do is, again, I've got the last 3 buttons here undone, and then I'm going to tie it here, and I'm going to pull it really tight to the front here. And so what's nice is if you're wearing something higher waisted, these panels come to the front and they cover the side action happening. And it really creates like another look. It just
I own that shirt.
sounds like, oh, you haven't done that?
No.
It's
and I get
good,
tomorrow,
right?
though.
Okay, one last thing here, which I'm sure there are many more, but one last thing is a lot of people write to me and they're like, why aren't you doing the perfect like cotton blazer? Because I don't like to show my arms in the summer and I want something that is lightweight. And I'm like, use your shirts for that. So if you were gonna turn this into like a summer shirt to wear, like a blazer, to cover your arms, and not because you don't like your arms, but maybe it's just really freaking cold inside with the air conditioning and you want like something to cut that. But it is summertime. So just turning it into a little jacket here, just doing the knots in the front,
There you have it.
done. Okay, so the Gabe shirt is a really great shirt. I love the Charlie shirt. Both were named after my boys. The Gabe is much more versatile than the Charlie, which is probably not true in real life, if you know them. But anyways, I digress. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Sorry. Yeah, sorry, one last thing. The other big thing, right, is you guys tell me that you've got tops in your closet that are landing all in neutrals or they're landing in the high color zone.
It's ring 3. That's really what's going to rein it in, going to create that balance. It's kind of like the missing link, the aha moment, so to speak. You just, when you pair it in, it's like, especially as Amy said, you know, with pieces that are at different ends of the spectrum,
Yeah,
I think that it really, it puts your eye at rest.
yeah, so it really is giving you options. Like if you've got the navy, if you've got the black, all of a sudden putting this ring 3 here and then throwing on like a bright green shoe, it's giving dimension. And what is important, when Bria had said in our meeting yesterday that our customers are not afraid of doing the hard work, what she was really saying was like really deeply understanding some of these principles of how you dress, like, and then making those connections to how they're making you feel is critical. And then you go and you make decisions on your own later on, but like this and this, like the whole thing is having so much dimension here. So you're not seeking outfit ideas. What you're taking away from this is you need some tops in the ring 3s because they are going to always give you depth and range in your clothing, in your outfits. And when you have depth and range in your outfits, you feel like you have more depth and range. It's funny. It really does.
It really does change.
Work out that
Yeah.
way.
It really changes, I think, your perception of like, how you feel.
As I roll this away, one more I'm going to talk about is this is the lightweight sweatshirting. This is just the.
It's honestly
It's so easy. It's so easy. And it's one that I'm just going to throw it on real quick because it really gives. It's when you are saying that you need something casual, but you don't want to feel that sloppiness that we talked about earlier. It's choosing the pieces that have intentional design, because this is a lightweight sweatshirting. Brands that use a lot of lightweight sweatshirting, maybe someone like James Purse, right?
Totally.
But James Purse and Tibby are very different because James Purse is very, very chill and laid back. And for us, where our DNA codes come in is it is this higher neckline. It is the shoulder seam that is dropped back here. It is the double stitching, and then it is the modern cocoon back. So even though I am wearing this sweatshirt, it is something that, like, if I were to pair with it a belt that has like a lot of toughness and interest, I wouldn't feel like I did like super high-low dressing. I don't look like I just ran to, I don't know, Old Navy and
Right,
picked
because I
up a
think
sweatshirt.
you're also
It's-
like, let's talk about the quality and the luxury, you know, beyond just the silhouette, it's really like the fabrication. Yes, it's a sweatshirt, but it's really like the luxury of this fabric in particular. And,
Yeah.
like choosing this fabric over, yes, maybe another, you know, cotton sweatshirting material that another company might use.
Yeah, and so that's where a lot of you guys are frustrated because in your closet, because you've got a lot of luxury pieces, you have a lot of modern pieces, you've been told to like just go to the Gap and buy a t-shirt and throw it on with your, you know, whatever pants. And the thing is it doesn't live up to that. And so you really need to have something that's got the fabrication and the modernity and all the ease to it. So the next grouping here is skirts.
Yeah, and the first one is I need dimension in my look, lightness or contrast. Usually, usually what we hear is, you know, I just need something. Amy will do the
Yeah.
but
They can't put into words. They're like, "Ugh."
kind of like stumbling because they just really don't know how to articulate that feeling.
Yeah. And so this is where, when you actually are trying to express yourself and you're like, oh, you're trying to tell me what you need in the dressing room, what I ask people to do is I'm like, tell me how you're feeling in something instead. And then that's when they're like, well, I don't wear skirts sometimes because I feel very frumpy in them, or I feel too feminine, or I feel too officey. And what I find is that a lot of you have frumpy, feminine, officey skirts in your closet, and you thought that you could augment it by wearing it with a leather jacket or wearing it with like a really interesting heel. And again, it comes together like a puzzle where you can see the outlines, and that is not where you want to be. You want it to come together completely. So something like the, I'll start here with the femininity of this skirt. So this is the Tibby Holy Grail.
Yeah, it's our nylon balloon skirt. This also comes in 2 lengths, which I think is really critical for skirts as well. I think everyone like obviously always says, oh, that's so great about the trousers, the jeans, etc. But skirts are just as important to, you know, adapt to a person's height, because it's where it hits really changes the point of view.
Exactly. And so for me in this skirt, I'm kind of in that no man's land sometimes on height because I'm just under 5'5". And so I'm right in the middle, right? So if you're above 5'5", 5'7", 5'8", absolutely go with the longer length. And if you're shorter, absolutely go with the shorter length.
Right.
For me, in kind of this no man's land, every man's land, however you want to think about it, when I think about the length, it's more about practicality.
Mhm.
So for me, the longer length doesn't make it as functional as I want it to be if I'm just running out to the farmer's market,
Right.
or I'm just like going shopping, you know, down Greenwich Avenue on the weekend. It's a little too dressed because this left side gets awfully close to the ground.
Right.
Now, even for me though, I decided not to go with 2 lengths, even though I could borrow a sample, right? But if you hold it up, I just want to show, if you go with the longer length, what I do a lot of times is when I do want to wear it in a much more casual way, I will just tie a little knot here on the side, and then it lifts it up, and I don't feel like I'm wearing such a long skirt when I'm running around.
For sure.
So this one is great. The low pockets are what makes TV skirts perfect for people who don't wear skirts.
I'll say this is my personal holy grail. When you were saying like, oh, if you have a lot of like silk shirts and oversized button downs, and I was like, are you in my closet? Because I do wear a lot of those things, and I do like very oversized, like Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen vibes. And so I often find if I'm wearing, you know, a Gabe shirt 3 sizes too big, that I'll want to pair it back to something really slim. And if I'm wearing it as a dress because I'm short enough that I can, you know, I just want to be a little bit covered, but I really like that juxtaposition and kind of really, I would say that this is the antonym to a more like polished, conservative idea of like a classic shirt.
Yeah. Yeah, and because that is something where if you had on a tropical wool skirt right now and this, well, let's just say it's a weekend and you're just wanting to hang out with friends,
Right.
the way you would describe yourself is you're like, I feel too worky, I
Right.
feel too tailored, too precious. So this, all of a sudden, like,
Totally.
now you're perfect for the weekend. You're
Right.
a perfect Sarah for the weekend, 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
How does that fit?
The other perfect skirt that we all live in is the little pleated skirt here. This one is in the sporty nylon, and we do this in a few different ranges of fabrications. The ranges, some feel a little slinkier than others, some feel a little drier, some feel a little sportier. But I would say among the pleated skirts, so they all work towards the same purpose.
Yeah.
And that is when you want to go running around on the weekend and you just like a trouser skirt's too dressy just
For sure.
to run around in. You want something that is just a little bit easier, and this skirt is perfect. And the great thing too is I do love the idea of a shorter skirt, right?
Mhm.
But like, if you're in Mommy and Me and you're like sitting all cross-legged,
Yeah.
like, no. And then the skirts that hit right there, like,
Mhm.
I love the idea of slinking around in like a flat, and that's,
Yeah,
like, the reality is,
exactly.
most of us, when we put on a skirt, that length, you just feel uptight.
Yeah.
It never gets the ease, and it really limits your shoe options. So these mid-length skirts that we tend to do in fundamentals
Mhm.
are there for a reason, because they work with a high heel, they work with a flat, they work with a boot, they work with a trainer, like, oh, they literally just work with everything.
Yeah.
I think we covered that.
Yeah, I know.
second
That's
one.
what I was like. oh,
Yeah,
okay.
very much.
Um,
So why don't we jump down to the third one?
I never really thought about skirts as a key
It's
basic.
a basic, yes, exactly. And if you think about like any company that you see, like department store, if they're like the perfect basic, they talk about the perfect basic
Mhm.
tee and the perfect basic jean and the perfect basic pant. They don't address skirts. They usually don't address a blazer as well.
Yeah.
So the perfect basic, one of them is this trouser skirt. So super hardworking. So if I'm wearing this, like, okay, I could totally give you a financial analysis and I
For
think you
sure.
would believe me, right? But if I were on vacation, I could run around like this and this, and I think that you believe me.
Yeah, for sure.
You believe that I am on vacation. And if I were to go to a really cool event and wear like a tall black strappy sandal, maybe even the studded belt and like a really cool black plunge top, you believe that I am going out to dinner at a great event. So this is what a ultimate basic skirt looks like. It's gonna sit low, you're gonna be able to put your hands in it, so it's gonna give you all the ease, but it is fully tailored, and it is just very modern in its shape, very modern and clean. Another one here, which is a great basic to think about, and this plays more into the femininity side, is the twill nylon skirt here. This skirt is very much, I think to describe the weight of this twill, which I think will help you, is unlike the crispy nylons or the Italian sporty nylons, this is one that you would associate more with like a Prada
Mhm.
weight, like the Prada.
I think
nylon
that
bag.
is a very, very good comparison.
So what this skirt is going to do is, if you need basics in your closet to add rigor and business-like tailoring and streamline, that trouser skirt is going to be the one you reach for that. But if you're looking for a basic that is going to make things feel a little more feminine, this is the one that is going to do it every time. And what you want to look for in a great basic here is on this one, and if you'll hold up that
This
one
one.
as well. The key thing is, this one is to give a more structured vibe. So this like 8-inch wide hem here is key, and you can see how clean finish it is. But what this hemline does is it gives it rigor, and it's gonna let it stand up and feel very sharp. But in the skirt here with the ruching, what this rigor does here is all of this, like, you don't want it to start to get too bohemian and floaty. And so had we done just a really simple bend back hem on it, it would have just wobbled and floated around. And so when you've got all this ease and drape to something, giving this 8-inch hemline here is what gives it its rigor and strength. It is what makes something that is chill and easy, it gives it the modernity piece to it. And then, like, it could not be more classic. And when I refer to bend back hem, just want to show you what I mean by that. So like the sheer skirt here, it does have a bend back hem because we didn't need the rigor and the strength. But the gray one that we did last year for fall,
Yeah.
and the sturdier, the sheer one that we did for fall in the corset
Oh,
fabric,
yeah.
that one had the big wide hem because
Yeah.
we wanted it to be like, oh,
Exactly.
super strong.
It's really just, again, like, what is the point of view of the piece? Like, what are you trying to say when you're wearing
Yep. And so this is another perfect basic. This is the compact knit. The skirts, I would say by and large, fit everyone. You know, some of you guys will write to me after this and you're going to say, can we see this not on someone that's a 4 or a 0, 00? And yes, number one, you can. Our stylists are a huge range, and we have the clothing on all of them, especially if you go and check out all their individual pages. But I know this one, like being in the dressing rooms with people, whether it is a 14, whether it is a 00, this hugs the body in such a rich way. And it's very like, it hugs it in a way that the fabric is still robust. So you don't see every panty line going in it.
And I think it genuinely surprises many people when they're in the dressing room because they're like, well, I've tried that skirt before. Well, you've tried it in, you know, another
From
style
another brand.
from another brand. But there's you know, the shape is not enough. There's so much else built into the skirt to, again, create that modernity and ease.
And this, again, is one of those skirts that is an absolute valve.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just wearing the gray heathered sweater and you put this on with it, and you were having guests over and it was holiday time, you have big silver earrings on and like fancy shoes, it is going to completely lift up this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm wearing this with this skimpy tank top, it's actually kind of toning down the sexiness of it. And then it is one that if you had a super over the top sequin top that you love, it's gonna like bring it down.
around it,
So
yeah.
lifts it up, meets it where it is, or it's gonna bring down the sequin top. That's what a great valve item does. Okay, so last group here are the blazer. Second? Denim and, I gotta get talking here. Are we allowed to go over an hour? I think we're gonna have to go over an hour a little bit. Okay, so the blazer. Matt says yes, he's given us permission. Okay, the blazers are the basics to our wardrobe for sure. And Vanna White here is gonna bring out.
I don't know if you can see Vanna, but
Wait, let me just say hi.
hi.
Take you right this week.
Okay, this is something we hear a lot. People are investing in the blazer for the first
I
time.
think also this is something that people in all walks of life experience, and not just once in their life. I think, you know, career changes, you know, personal changes. I think a blazer is so fundamental to Tibby, of course, and like, you know, a brand really rooted in tailoring.
Yeah.
But there are so many nuances about our blazers that differ from really everyone else
Yes.
out there.
And just a reminder why it's different. Tibby is independently owned. We do not use algorithms. We do not get consensus. Even when we've been out in the dressing rooms with you guys, we are not running out and tallying things up and sending them to someone. Like I said, the information that we get from you is to help us better present to you in the future rather than go and create a version of a perfect blazer that will work for everyone. That's not a thing. But now you're investing in the first blazer. Well, the Liam.
The Liam, let's call a spade a spade. The Liam is the starter blazer.
The Liam is a starter blazer. It is from Tibby. And the reason why it's a starter blazer is it is the ultimate valve. If you are going out at night, it is the one that you put over your shoulders as a shawl. If you are going to work, you are going to wear it in a much more polished way. Maybe you're going to go to the third button on the Liam, which is over here, and you're going to make it more cinched. Maybe you're going to even belt it. When you are on the airplane, it is going to become the replacement for your denim jacket.
Again, it does so much. That is the whole point of the design. It is really a multi-hyphenate piece. And so again, you don't really have to choose one way.
Yeah.
All of the ways you really can benefit from all of the ways that this jacket can be worn, can be styled.
Another great first blazer for people is this one with the cutout. And this is where it is really important to understand that having that point of view, having a detail that is very modern but that does not overtake the whole style, makes you feel really modern each time you wear it. And modernity is a good way to feel. It means you're progressive and thinking forward, etc. So this jacket, from the front here, the blazer, the difference from the Liam is the Liam has a drop shoulder and it has a boxier cut. So this one, the shoulder is more inset. Now, it's hard to say that it's inset on me because my shoulders are so narrow.
Right.
But if I were completely filling this jacket out, what you would see is that the armhole is going to fit right up under your armpit. So you can really like move your arm around. And you can know that this jacket's not fitting you'll know it's too small if it kind of comes up and your arm is constricted here. And that means that, you need to go up a size. All right, so here, the interesting thing on this jacket is it's got the cutout back detail. But we did it at a point, you can see like the jeans I'm wearing, they end up here. So you can wear this with a lower rise jean and it's not gonna have you.
You're not going to be constantly tugging
Yeah.
to tucking your shirt, etc.
Yeah, you're not gonna see a thong every time you bend over. So this jacket is really like, it's giving tailoring and modernity. This is a great first choice jacket as well. It's not so oversized. I'm wearing the size 4.
And I think, for those of you that have the first blazer,
Yeah.
which,
They're expanding now.
now you're expanding, you're looking for something that maybe adds a little bit of interest, is a different material than you would have previously considered, a different color, this is kind of the opportunity to do that. And I think what you'll notice is that, so these 3, the Liam and then the 2 iterations that Amy and I are putting on, these are also Liams.
Yep.
However, there are going to be slight differences in fit based on the material.
Exactly. So even though it might be the same pattern that we work off of and the same sloper, what you'll see is because it's softer, it is going to drape on you. And I know from a lot of you and from ourselves as well, when you wear the tropical wool Liam, some of you have sized down because this material being fully lined here has a lot of guts to it. So it can feel bigger even though it's the same size as this one, but because this drapes on you, it feels smaller. So what you want to make sure is if you have sized down in Liam, do not size down in this one because you actually need the space. You needed it in Liam too, it just felt bigger. This will not feel bigger on you. So if you're looking for blazer number 2, what you want to think about is what is that one that is like completely throw on. People love this one in particular because you can wear it throughout the summer. I hear from a lot of people is if you are a blazer person, which I am, then you want blazers for all moments of your life.
Right.
You don't just wear a blazer at work or to an event and then all of a sudden on the weekend you switch to like jean jackets and
Absolutely.
bomber jackets. Like I want a blazer for the weekend, but I want it to be appropriate for the weather and for where I'm going. And so these are the ones that I live in because it's just got like all the coziness. And this came about as a discussion point because I was with a woman in Montreal and she was saying, I have a Liam, I need another blazer. And she was trying to decide whether she needed another blazer that was more structured, more polished for business, or did she need this one that she was trying on? And what we agreed was that with the Liam, what's great is by belting it, by even adding a shoulder pad, you can go ahead and get more polish and structure in it. So you're kind of covered there with Liam. But what she was doing in this, the way that she just kept like hugging herself in it, and the way we know even this works, like you can wear it without a top on.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like this kind of sexy top.
I think, these are a bit more malleable for the more casual, quote unquote, activities of your life. So like if you're running out to Pilates, I think you, yes, are going to grab your tropical Liam, but I think the average creative pragmatist will likely grab something that's a bit lighter in weight that, is easy to travel with and is a little bit sportier so that they feel more appropriate in the environment they're in.
Exactly. And so this jacket she ended up going with this one. But what I love about it is you can see here, like in the summertime, you can wear even just a bandeau underneath it and it becomes like this summer top. So this lighter weight jacket ended up giving her much more range. She was able to get the tailoring out of the Liam by just augmenting the, adding a shoulder pad underneath. And then she went with the softer one because that was going to give her the most range, which these were big decisions, right? She was deciding on jacket number two.
It's an investment. Either way.
Okay, so the last group here, switch this out, is the denim. And, okay, so I had a woman come in Montreal, and she was like, I brought my problem child. And it was a very classic tweed blazer, classic tweed, classic color, classic cut. And she was wearing like a pair of kind of Levi's with it, right? Classic. And she was like, why can't I make this outfit work? And the thing is she looked good. Like anyone on a street style ranking her, they'd be like 5 stars for you. But she didn't feel good. And she didn't feel good because she couldn't put her finger on it.
Mm-hmm.
But when we dissected the situation, what it was classic plus classic plus classic
Right.
is dull. And the answer for her was not to even putting out the tuck jean here, even though this has a more modern design to it, it wasn't the solve because the blazer was so classic that the fact that it was worn with this is called a vintage wash. This vintage
Still
wash
leaned into that idea.
still so classic, right? Because you can see if you were wearing this together here with the gray, it's classic. It's
For sure.
and that I know you and you would be tempted to really try and give it a little more edge with a belt or at least a high polished shoe to kind of take it further. Because it's not that it's bad, but for a lot of us, it feels a little too one-dimensional. So when you have those items in your closet that are more classic, what you want to do is make sure that you have rounded out the jeans that you have. So one of the ways that makes something feel instantly modern is either a raw denim or an indigo denim. So this is where this is giving it irony and
For
twist.
sure. I think, this indigo slouchy-cargo-jean, because the denim is actually a bit weightier because it isn't a raw indigo. It just adds that polish, that gravitas that really creates some strength and when something you're wearing is a little bit more flimsy or softer.
Yeah, and so had she had that jean with that traditional blazer, it would have given it more of a point of view.
Yeah,
I
definitely agree.
Another solve is the bleached denim. So bleached denim and acid wash. Acid wash is a good example, like the sheer netting fabric earlier. When we did acid wash years ago, we were feeling for it as a trend, but all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, these classic blazers in our closet, it feels so good with acid wash. What it didn't feel good with was a top that was too
For sure.
much of a top, but acid wash really gave dimension to things that are very classic. So I'm wearing navy blue tropical wool. The minute I put this bleach with it, it really
You look a bit lighter, feel a bit lighter. And I think really, like you said, the bleach denim, the acid wash, you kind of have one perspective of what that, wash is supposed to do or supposed to act like. But for me, I often pair it with a blazer or with something that is a little bit more conservative and polished and straightforward because it offers that ease.
Yeah, exactly. And the same goes too with the ripped denim that I'm wearing. This jean here, the Rider, the ripped denim really wants to have something very polished and clean with it. The other trap that a lot of people fall into is they buy just a white classic jean. You've all seen a manual alt running around and you're like, her, I will look like her. The thing is she's
That
and
pictures,
under a French frock.
but those pictures are also from like 1995.
Exactly. And she's wearing the stilettos to
Yeah, I
pull
mean,
it
like,
off.
she looks amazing, but she has all the tools.
She's
Like,
got the tools, and it's her style. And when you put it on, you feel basic as fuck. So, and that's confusing.
Yeah.
How can you feel basic when she's wearing it? So when you go with white denim, make sure you've got a point of view. The Sid jean, the tuck jeans, like give it the point of view. The other jean here I've gotten a lot of wear out of is the Dennis jean. This one is not for everyone. This seems to be the one I wear the most out of
you do
Tracy and I. But it's the one that gives like, I guess I really love the idea of an old Levi's, but sometimes I need more of a point of view, and that's what this really long rise does. I do wear a heel at 5'5". I tend to wear a heel with it.
I think it is a bit like it is, an oversized slouchy jean. So I feel like you often want to add something that's a bit more refined.
So I'm wearing the 3-inch heel on that. When you want a jean that is a slimmer cut, but by no means a skinny jean, but it's giving skinny. There's a difference. So it's one thing like when you wear a skinny jean and you can see like every outline.
And like you can't like pull the jean up if you like have an itch or something.
It's not very functional.
No.
And again, you can't, quick story to end on, but like I remember Tracy used to make her son wear really skinny jeans to school, right? This was like the mid 2000s. And he came home one day and he was like all upset. And she's like, what's wrong? And he said, I can't do crisscross applesauce and groove because I can't fold my legs. And I was like, Tracy. And she's like, no, he's got to learn to self-retraction. Anyways, side story. Poor guy's probably in school right now in Illinois. Like, what the hell? He's in college now. We love torturing people. So, Matt included. So last one to end on is when you are wanting modernity, but the lightness, it is summertime, but you want like all the chill. This is the Sid. And over, what we found when people were trying things on is do not call Sid a barrel shape. That is not what it is. It collapses in. Sid gives you ease, but it manages to give you fullness and flatness. It works on every single solitary body type.
I think the difference also to note between like a barrel jean and Sid is that the barrel jean, there's a very clear point that it ends on. It often becomes like very tight at the ankle. That's where you really like see this balloon shape, and it holds true. It holds the silhouette. This jean, like you said, it really just does
With your
fall.
body.
It collapses with your movement, with your stance, and that really is the difference. It's not creating that barrel shape. It's not structured like that.
Because being able to move things around is key. And actually, I lied. This is what I'm going to end on. But this is a triple pleat pant. This comes in 2 lengths. I wear it in the longer length because I'm really comfortable with pants dragging on the floor. And if you're not, and if you write to me and tell me, how can you be comfortable with it? Just know that I am. Like, okay, I am. It's what laundry machines are for. And I'm not licking the hem of my pants after I wear it. But what I love about this one is you have options. Like you can snap it up. You can snap it in a way that creates a really wide cuff. You can leave it down if you're comfortable with the drag. You can buy a shorter length and leave it down if you're not comfortable with the drag. Christine Russo in our office, she and I are the same height, but she likes hers in the shorter length. And that's her vibe. Or you can really like turn it into a culotte. So options are good, and this triple pleat pant gives you lots of options. It doesn't swing out on you, and you can even hike it up and cinch it. And like all good pants, we have the longer rise. Remember, a rude pant has a rise the length of a baby carrot, and it's rude because it's really putting itself upon you, and it's not giving you choice or options to make something your own. That is the definition of rude. Okay, so follow up with Substack. Okay, that's going to be really good. It's going to give you all of these details. And I think what we're going to do is take even more styles and bucket them into these categories so that you can really see it further. If you are in LA, please go see the team. We are also got the signups now happening for London, which is coming in 2 weeks. We have added the London twice a year. We did it before, once a year. It's going to be great. We do it at the Standard Hotel. And Couture is going to be in Hawaii. Fuck, I want Couture's job. Couture is in London, Hawaii, and LA. That's it.
Yeah.
All the events can be found in our highlights on Instagram.
Matt, do you want to come share that?
All of the events can be found in the highlights on our main Instagram page, as well as the events section on the Tibby website.
And what else did you just get finished editing that everyone needs to watch?
And episode 1.4 of the Almost Reckless podcast is out now on all streaming platforms, as well as YouTube. It's with Francis Schumack, the founder and CEO of Obel Fragrance, and it is a phenomenal conversation, and
It's a good
you
one.
should all watch.
All right, thanks guys, and we will see you next week where we are going to dive into really old Tibby pieces. The team is going to be with me at my house in Greenwich, and we're going to pull out the old stuff. So it's going to be good.